Hey everyone, it's Spoonexo here. In this video I'm going to be going over all of my macros and I'll also be explaining in detail how I use them and why they're so important. Alright guys, so just a quick overview of this video. I'll be going over my general macros, my focusing macros, and also my targeting macros. And on top of that I'll be showing you arena footage of where these macros really come in place and help me out a lot. When I first started playing Warlock, I didn't even use half of these macros. And let me tell you, once I learned how to use these macros and became comfortable doing so, I became a much better player. Alright, so let's go over some of the general macros, guys. Most of you guys probably already know of these macros, but I'm just going to go over them for the sake of it. Alright, so here's your basic Demon Soul macro. Some of you guys might not know which trinkets to go for, Battle Masters, or the proc trinket or the on-use trinket. Personally, I highly recommend using the on-use trinket and adding it to a macro with Demon Soul. So yeah, once you use this macro, for the next 20 seconds, all the dots you put up during the duration will do 20% more damage from Demon Soul, plus the extra damage from the spell power as well. Alright guys, so this next macro is probably one of my favourite macros. So basically what this macro does is whenever you hover over the target or whatever with your cursor, it will use Fell Flame when you hit the bind. Now, there's one specific reason for having this macro, and that is for hitting Tremor Totem. In my opinion, the difference between a great Warlock and a good Warlock is macros like this. I'll show you guys a couple of examples of how I go about using this macro. Alright, so in this clip, I'm aiming to get a full fear on the Shaman here, knowing he has Tremor Totem. So I'll cast the fear, and I'll instantly mouse over focus the Tremor Totem when I see it, and then I'll re-fear the Shaman, and he's stuck in that half fear. It really is that easy to do, and I don't see a lot of Warlocks doing it these days. Simple yet effective, which is what I really like about it. Okay guys, so here's another example. I'm going to put the Shaman in a full fear, knowing he has Tremor Totem. As he tremors the fear, I Fell Flame the Tremor Totem, and I put the Shaman into a Death Coil as well, and out of that Death Coil I put him into another fear. So I really do urge you guys to stop ignoring the Tremor Totem and start killing it and re-fearing. It really is that effective, and in this case it leads to a kill. I'll let the clip play so you can all see.
Okay.
Hey,
Don't touch her, I'm
damage.
gonna drag that, let him
Okay,
sit, let him sit.
nice.
Shaman just
Pushing
push
good.
Keep face off that?
Full fear Shaman, go rogue.
Yeah,
Full fear Shaman, no ads. Where's the yard?
No, he missed it.
Big kills.
Man of Doom's gonna tick right here. Okay guys, now this macro is really helpful. In Arena I see Warlocks never reapplying Dark Intent after it gets dispelled. Having a macro like this bound makes reapplying DI very easy. So if your frame of mind is you apply DI before the game starts, then you never worry about DI again, you need to change that and start reapplying DI whenever you see it get dispelled. And for example, if you're playing with a Shadow Priest, if he notices he doesn't have Dark Intent, he should also tell you to rebuff it just to help you out. Okay everyone, now let's move on to the focus macros I use. Alright guys, so again simple and effective, it's a focus Death Coil macro. So this clip here against Ret DK Priest shows how effective focus Death Coil can be. We're on the Ret Pally here and I need to get a fear onto this Priest, but he keeps line of sighting with the Tomb. So as he goes to line of sight, I put him into a Death Coil, and that gives me enough time to land the fear before the Ret Paladin gets to me. And another effective way to use this macro is imagine if you're versing a Resto Shaman and he fakes your spell lock, and you have Curse of Tongues on him, so at the end of his cast bar you'll be able to Death Coil the heal as another interrupt. And from this clip earlier you can see how I use Focus Death Coil to call the Shaman, and then I use Mouse over Fell Flame to kill the Tremor. So without any of those macros I wouldn't have been able to pull off this amazing CC chain on the Shaman right here. Alright, so now Focus Fear. Everyone should know and use this macro, it's a great way to fear healers and whatnot. So basically you'll have a lot less downtime rather than trying to manually fear the target. Here's another essential macro I'm pretty sure most of you will have, Focus Spell Lock. It's fairly self-explanatory, just it's really essential for interrupting healers and casters. Alright, so here's another macro I absolutely love. Focus Curse of Tongues. I mean, I absolutely spam the heck out of this skill. This spell can be used offensively and defensively, but I just recommend putting it up at all times when you can. Especially when your Curse of Elements spreads to every target within range with the Jinx talent. So for example, you're versing RMP, you're able to put elements on the Rogue or the Water Ellie, for example, then you can spam Curse of Tongues on the Priest and the Mage, but they'll still have the damage buff from the elements. Alright, so take a look at this clip. My Mage is under a lot of pressure here on Ring of Valor against this Shadow play, So if you take a look at my target and my focus, they both have cursor tongues. And as you can see, this Warlock hasn't put cursor tongues on me. And if you actually think about it, I'm casting 30% faster than they are, so I basically have heroism. So next time you're versing a Wizard Cleave or a Warlock or a Mage in general and you're not using cursor tongues or even spamming it, think about that. Alright everyone, so here we have our targeting macros. Now if you're one of those Warlocks who clicks Gladiator, be sure to pay attention to this part. Alright guys, so put this in perspective. If you're clicking Gladiator the whole time, and say it's a 10-minute game, the amount of downtime that adds up clicking Gladiator is unreal. Say it takes you 0.5 seconds to click Gladiator of the target you want to target. And let's just say you had to do that 60 times in one game. That adds up to 30 seconds of downtime. So everyone, you really do need to get in the habit of using these macros. I know at the start you'll be really uncomfortable doing this because you won't be used to it. But hey, I felt the exact same way. But trust me, after a while of getting used to this macro, it'll definitely pay off. And for those of you who don't know how this works, let me just explain real quick. So here you see the diagram, it's Arena 1, Arena 2, and Arena 3. So basically you have to make 3 binds. Target Arena 1, Target Arena 2, and Target Arena 3. So say in this case, I have Target Arena 1 bound to F. If I was to press F, it would target the Shaman. So yeah, I mean, it's a very simple macro and a very effective macro. You just need to get used to it. You can't expect to use these macros and then get the hang of it straight away. It even took me a few weeks to get used to it. Okay guys, coming towards the end of this video, I'm going to show you the most important macros I've ever used as a Warlock. And this macro is Focus Arena 1, Focus Arena 2, and Focus Arena 3. Okay everyone, so it's basically the exact same as before. I'll bring up the arena diagram again. So, I recommend you find some comfortable binds for these macros and start using them as soon as possible, because if you're one of those people, again, who click Gladiator to set your focus, you're really putting yourself to a disadvantage. Alright guys, so now I'm going to show you some example clips of how these focus macros really help me out and really gives me that edge over the other player who's not using these macros. Alright everyone, so keep an eye on my focus frame here. I currently have the Mage on focus, spamming cursor tongues, but I see ice blocks, so instantly I'll put the Priest on focus, I'll fear his fear ward off, and I'll land a full fear on the Priest. Okay, so here's the same clip. Imagine if I had to click the Priest after the Mage ice block there to land a fear on the Priest. I would have had so much downtime, and there's no way I would have got my fear off that fast. Okay everyone, so that's one way to use your Focus Arena 1, 2, 3. Now let's go over another method. Okay everyone, look at this clip. Here I have the Mage on focus because I have a counterspell and I don't want to let him frostbite my Shaman. So right here he tries to be sneaky and he puts his mirror images down so my focus drops frame. But as you can see, I hit my Focus Arena 2 bind, put him back on focus instantly, and I lock that frostbolt. Now I mean, that's a potential 70 to 80k shatter I stopped there. So imagine trying to stop one of those shatters without the focus binds. I mean, unless you have godlike reflexes to be able to target the Mage and then interrupt the frostbolt, you wouldn't be able to stop that frostbolt at all. Okay, so here's one more effective yet simple way to use Focus Arena 1, 2, 3. As you can see in this clip, we're doing a lot of damage to the Warlock and we're going for a kill. And I have a counterspell up, so I'm going to put the Shaman on focus here, and I'm going to do my best to spell lock his heal so we can get a kill on this Warlock. So as you can see here, I'm trying not to get faked, waiting for the Shaman to cast, and I spell locked the last 10% of that cast right there. So now we can keep up our momentum on this Warlock and go for a kill. So there you have it guys, my macro guide. Anyways, I hope this video has been help to all of you. Alright, this is Punexo with Skillcraft. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Have fun in the arena, and I'll see you all next time.